For a while now, we have been talking about building a house. In fact, we bought 5 acres in another county, but decided where we've been for the past 30 years is really what we like. We were looking for some area with a house or property with a lot of trees, and we actually found this house right here. It is a log cabin tucked in the woods. It's actually only an acre and a half. But we are really excited about this opportunity. This is going to be our next renovation. We were going to build a new house, but we decided that this was something that we really thought we could really make into a forever home. And so I'm actually here today to do an inspection. Being a licensed general contractor, I've had my electrician come out, and I am going to inspect this myself for structural defects or any areas that might have rotten wood, or throw out a big concern before we purchase the property. We have only less than 15 days left to check everything out, make sure it's satisfactory, and we're going to do our inspection today. So let's go along and check everything out. I've got some area where it looks like there's been some moisture coming in here. I'm going to go get my ladder and start poking around a little bit. I've done some research on log homes and what to look for. So this is a new project for me in terms of building materials, looking at things to figure out what we've got in terms of potential rot. These are woodpecker holes. And usually the carpenter bees come in, chew holes out, lay their eggs, and then the woodpeckers come back and search for those eggs. I am at this back right corner of the house, and I'm going to start right here. Got my ladder, and I'm going to check things out. All right, it's still pretty hard, which is nice. Gonna check this out with, normally I find with rotten wood, if something's rotted, your knife will go right through it. But all this seems pretty solid, even though it looked like it was rotten. Now, it's my understanding that from the gable up, this is actually log siding, and from here down, it's actually logs. And you could hear the difference when you're tapping a solid log and when you're tapping the log siding. The difference between a solid log and log siding is that the log siding is just cut in half, so it's just a clapboard, basically, some type of veneer over sheathing. So they've got some flashing cap over the trim, but what they've done is they just kind of silicone it right in there, across there. So you could definitely have some water getting in some of these spots. So that's a little maintenance that needs to be done. Not a very neat job on spray foam behind here. Feels rather soft. Probably going to have to address that at some point around these windows. One of the things that I've learned in terms of logs is you have this checking, and checking is the natural splitting of wood as it's dried. So we want to make sure that we get these areas cleared up or sealed up with some type of caulk or sealant. I do see a siding board over here that needs to be replaced. I'm not a big fan of house wrap that's woven like this kind. As you can see, this has been exposed to the elements, and rain and water could get in here. So we want to check and see if there's any signs of moisture damage on the inside of the house. Inspecting the far right side of the house, and there's just some general maintenance that needs to be happening. There's a lot of mold on here that needs to be cleaned. There's checking of the wood logs, which just needs to be caulked. You can take care of that pretty easily. A little bit of caulking on some flashing. There's a piece of molding hanging down, but structurally the foundation looks pretty good, and for the most part I think there's just one log, but it's part of the log siding. There's a big chunk out of it that should be replaced, but we definitely want to make sure that there's no water intrusion over there. And for the most part I think it's in decent shape. Somebody put a painted fascia board up here, and that can't be stained, or they stained it dark, and it's probably not the same species of wood. Looks like they did that over here too. So you've got basically two different woods. So this one would have to be stripped if we wanted it stained, and we're gonna have to look at that as a decision when we start remodeling and fixing everything up over here. But now let's go ahead and start along the front and work our way around the house. Normally I work counterclockwise, but for some reason I'm going clockwise. One of the things that you really want to look for possible signs of water damage or rot is the signs of water staining. And I'm actually really impressed. They've got some staining here. It's dry, which is really good. And when I go to put my knife in it, it's solid. So that's a really good indication that we've not had any damage. Now, you could have water coming behind this metal fascia, or this metal flashing, and I can't stick my knife in there to discover if there's any rot. But I actually think the wood is in really good shape, considering that there could be rot going on. But it's a new roof, and actually these shingles are new, and they look like they've been installed really well. So while I'm not a fan of the color of the roof seems in good shape, and I think it had its lifetime. I think it was a 20-year-old roof that got replaced recently. So now we're just trying to check all the other areas that could be a concern. And so far I'm not seeing anything that's adding up to a tremendous amount of cost, just general maintenance at this point, but something that's got to be addressed. All right, now I am looking underneath the deck, and this area under the covered porch is in really good shape. A few nests from birds, an old speaker or an alarm system. Just generally looking to see the foundation. There's no cracks or anything like that under here. We got a hanger for this beam. It's sitting on a post. Overall, everything, for what it's worth in terms of built 25 years ago, is in pretty good shape. This is sill seal, but it's a foam that goes under your bottom plate to act as a capillary break between any moisture that is in the foundation and the bottom sill plate, which is your a 2x10 member. Actually, this is probably a 2x8 sitting on this block wall, but you can see over years it has just deteriorated. And anyway, kind of typical construction here. Framed it in for a fireplace, but they didn't build the fireplace, but the foundation has a fireplace. Let's see, this door is rusted shut, but outside of that, everything seems to be in pretty good shape. All right, so I completed a thorough inspection of the whole outside, and really, for everything that it is, 25 years old. They said they had it restained in 2022, but it wasn't really a good job. But the roof is new. Most of the wood is in really good shape, with the exception of one area on the front porch that has a pretty decent amount of rot, but it's nothing that seems, beyond repair, and it's not going to condemn the house in any way. The foundation is all in really good shape. And it's probably mostly cosmetic with some tweaks of repair here and there and general maintenance. So I think that's a really good sign, and I'm gonna go into the crawl space now and inspect the crawl space and see how it is in here. And actually, I think I'm gonna go get my mask. Let's see. That's an issue right there. All right, last time I went through the house and it was really fast. So I'm gonna go through a little bit slower this time and show you what we've got. That deck goes into the master bedroom. We've got this entire area out here. This is the rear entrance, and behind here is a pantry. The pantry is pretty narrow, and at this point we're brainstorming ideas of either to open this up, make a landing area, some pantry cabinets or linen cabinets or something, storage cabinets. This is the laundry room currently on the plan, but this is probably going to become more of like our walk-in pantry. We could get fancy and call it a scullery or a butler's pantry. Not really sure what we'll do with the kitchen, but right now it'll be functional. Some things we see don't work. They've got a gas cooktop in the island. And right now this is kind of how they have the dining area set up, but we figure long term this whole area will be reconfigured, probably in phase 2. This is the great room, the traditional wooden truss, 1x ceiling, all your tongue and groove on the ceiling. And then there's the attic access. Long term, we think this will probably be phase 1, where we remodel the bathroom in here. Keep in mind that we'll probably put some stairs and make a loft up there. Get rid of those built-ins over there, and all of that area becomes a reconfiguration of my office, a closet, and a linen closet on the other side. This area here is probably going to be Bethany's office, and we'll figure out how she wants that. But all of the exterior walls are the logs. All of the interior walls are sheetrock. This is the guest room. We were initially thinking that this guest room would be the office, but now reconfiguring everything, and Bethany looked at the sizes, this actually works better for our guest room. And there's the hall bathroom. We may try and push the door down to be more in line with the entrance from the bedroom from the guest bedroom into the bathroom. We'll have to figure that out. There's a closet behind there. We've got our HVAC return. And there's this closet in here. Let me move this out of the way. I'm gonna put this right up here right now. And then we could see the closet. Now this closet has our return. There is the shut off for the water. That could easily be moved. That could give us more space from the bathroom. And I think moving that down would almost put that in really good alignment. Probably have to shift the return somehow. The bathroom, certainly dated, needs a full gut. There's a header there because that's carrying the wall and all those trusses above. And then the master bedroom. Here's our master. We have all exterior walls, again, have the logs. And then return, we'll have to reconfigure that. This is the closet right now. And then you go down a hallway here. But we're got a new floor plan being worked on. And then this will become the bathroom area. We've got to decide, are we going to put the shower in the space with the window? How this will all lay out. But we're thinking that we'll come in and have our bathroom over here. And then behind us, we'll have the laundry room in the master. So we're gonna have to figure that out as well. We gotta start talking about appliances and cabinets and tile and all the finish work that we wanna have. All the carpet will be torn out, and we're gonna do hardwoods throughout. So in the meantime, that's really the inside of the house. And if you like it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe. We release new videos every so often.